So we finally have the big news and the official announcement of the Canon R5 and R6. Now this video won't cover the R6 so much compared to the R5. You heard a lot of this stuff anyway, so let's just have a quick discussion about the R5 and what it means to the photo industry, especially during this tough time, and what it means to Canon cameras. If you weren't aware, Canon's 5D Mark II is probably one of the greatest, most innovative cameras that was ever made, especially within the past decades and everything, because of what it offered, brought in for video, just exactly like what kind of Nikon did with their Nikon D90 HD video and everything. Canon had that with the 5D Mark II, and the versatility it gave cinematographers and videographers to have everything they need in a very affordable package for the most part on the go, and really kind of expand what the DSLR could do with video. And now I'd say that this R5 is their biggest innovative thing all the way since the 5D Mark II. There's a lot that goes into this. Some of it's a little excess, but you have something really, really great, a really good tool with the R5. Looks like Sony's actually going to come out with the Sony a7 III this summer. It's been confirmed. It's also been confirmed for like the past 5 years. But that being said, Canon's coming out first, and they teased with 8K video up to 30 frames per second way before anything came out. We'll cover video in just a quick little bit, but just a quick little specs right here. So this R5 is full frame. It is essentially their 5D, if you're going to the DSLR, their 5D Mark IV line type thing. Now for their mirrorless system, the full frame 45 megapixel R5. You're looking at a camera that will have a native ISO of 100 to 51,200 that should expand on pretty good range. Canon's dynamic range has kind of been iffy over the past couple years. They're okay, but they're nothing like Fuji or something in that regard. So, and we're excited to see what will happen in regards to dynamic range. And it's got a new built-in 5-axis sensor shift stabilization, which can basically handle up to 8 stops of camera shake, and that's huge. So that way, if you're using, you know, photo and video, you're getting something stable, and it looks to be reported in a lot of the pre-production models that are out. The footage looks very, very good. So that's very promising to hear that they kind of have in-body stabilization control of. And one of the main reasons I use Canon as it is already is for the dual pixel autofocusing system. And now they have a new dual pixel autofocus 2, which has deep learning technology, which essentially like learns over time of what you're doing and gets used to it. But this will have dedicated eye, face, and head detection, and will know if you are a human or an animal. Aren't we all animals though? And the big thing, obviously, going back to the video, is your 8K video at 30 frames per second. Now, one of the big things I don't think was talked about much is that even on your highest capacity card, the fastest card out there, you're essentially still getting under like 20 minutes of 8K video. And how useful is 8K video now in 2020? Still not useful whatsoever. It's essentially marketing hype, but hey, Canon does it. You have full use of the sensor. There is actually no crop, which I think is a big deal in regards to that as well. Same as the 4K, but you have no crop and you're able to use dual pixel autofocusing. Speaking about 4K, you could do 4K up to 120 frames per second. Once again, totally overkill, but if you're into 4K and you want to do that super slow, cool motion, kind of the Peter McKinnon stuff, you're going to want to use the R5 for that. I just want to make a slight note about the R6 is that, yeah, the R6 does have 4K video as well, but it does have a slight, like, what is it, 1.07 times crop. So it's not bad, but just to note that the R5 doesn't have any crop, where the R6 has a slight one, but it's very usable compared to where if I use this M50, this will be like right in my eyes and my mouth right now. But the R5 does have both raw recording and C-Log, which is absolutely great. There are a couple options there, so that way you can edit raw video, which I think is key, especially if you're buying this camera. It does have both all-I and IPB compression settings, so if you want to have more compression, you have the capability there if you want to do that. And the cool thing is all this 8K, 4K stuff is on board. You don't necessarily need like an Atomos, Ninja, Flamefire, whatever they are. You don't really need an external recorder. So having everything built in is very, very key. And just to kind of break down the body real quick, and what I like about it is that it is weather sealed. So for the amount of money, which I'll cover in a second too, you're getting a weather sealed camera. So that is something great. I really like the half-inch top screen that it has. I was a fan of that ever since I first saw that on a camera, since like the Fuji X-H1. I really like that. Easy to display and use that information. Apparently it's got a bright EVF. I don't use the viewfinder, so I could care less. But like every Canon camera that's pretty much done, it does have a fully articulating 3.2-inch touchscreen. Canon is great for that type of stuff. In regards to the memory, you have CF Express Type B and SD UHS-2. So once again, very fast cards, very able to keep up with the 4K, 8K video. But once again, the 8K video, you're not getting a ton of recording time. But that being said, it also has a new battery that kind of looks like every other Canon battery right now, but it's brand new. But with the power that this stuff is putting out, it's not rated to be that great on paper. So we'll see in actual reviews, but the battery looks to be kind of overworked. You got your 3.5mm headphone and your mic jack, so you can monitor your audio and record video at the same time, which every camera should have at this point. It is 2020, and it has a couple of my favorite things. The rear joystick, love it, absolutely love that for, you know, selecting your autofocusing points or navigating menus quicker. And it has the rear wheel dial, which once again, absolutely enjoy on Canon cameras. The one great thing is they don't have that stupid menu bar at the top. That is gone and that is out of there. And then they have their click in mode dial up top. Not your traditional one, but you have your one where you click the mode and you switch it through the touchscreen, not seeing all the little symbols on the top like the R6 has. All in all, the Canon R5 is 100% finally Canon going, hey, we still make great cameras, we still do something, but we could be innovative too. Now, don't get me wrong, when they came out with like the EOS R and everything, the RP, fine, great, awesome. Love what you're doing, price point okay. But now the price point of this R5, you're looking at a $3,900 US camera. That is pre-tax. You're paying, what, $4,300, $4,400, well, depending on where you buy it and state tax and everything, for the Canon R5. Whew! And the Canon R6, for that matter, is $2,500. So if you're comparing the R5 and R6 to the 60 and 5D line, they're like $400 or $500, if not a little bit more, over what their current prices are when they come out. So that being said, you're paying more of a premium in a very tough time with everything that's going on. But I think if you're a filmmaker, especially if you're in a Canon, you're going to be interested in this R5. Once again, that 8K is probably a little bit more of a marketing hype type thing, but it can do it. And once again, I love that there's no crop. I love that it has dual pixel autofocus in 4K, but I think the 4K is what's going to stick out to you, since once again, it doesn't have any crop. But with that being said, what are your thoughts on this R5? I would be extremely excited to actually get hands-on with this, and I think it's a killer setup for a little over $4,000. Once again, the price is a little extreme, but I think it's a killer setup if someone wants to add this camera to their arsenal, and I think it's something good to see Canon doing. Sony, you've got a lot to step up to, and I don't think you need to do 8K video just to do it. But that being said, this is probably going to be one of the cameras of the year. The Canon R5, Sony A7S III in 2020. You're up.